name is Kevin Fernandez, and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today, we're going to learn how to play the card drafting train game, Ticket to Ride Europe. This 2 to 5 player game designed by Alan R. Moon and published by Days of Wonder. Almost forgot about that. In this game, you are going to be traveling around Europe and exploring all the wondrous locations and cities that you can visit in there, placing down your trains and building routes to completing tickets. A little catch though, you'll have some help by stopping at some of their stations. Will you be able to complete your routes and be able to do a complete European tour? Or would you be flying back to the States in disappointment and shame? Find out as we go to the table and learn how to play Ticket to Ride. Place the board in the center of the table. Each player receives a set of 45 colored train cars. As this is going to be a 2-player game, I have 2 sets all set up. And a matching set of 3 colored train stations. So there's 3 of these green and 3 of these blue that each player will have. As well as red, yellow, and black, depending on which color you're playing as for this game. But we're doing green and blue. Blue-green. Each player will place a corresponding score marker at the start space down at the bottom of the board. Down here by the 1, between the 1 and the 100. And it'll go along the map's border when you start scoring. Throughout the game, each time a player scores points, they will advance their marker accordingly. Shuffle the train cards. Just going to give a good jolt. And deal a starting hand of 4 cards to each player. There we go. Place the remaining deck of train cards near the board and turn the top 5 cards face up. And lay them next to each other. Then you just place the deck here and the discard will go right there. Yeah, place the remaining deck of train cards near the board, then turn the top 5 cards face up from the deck, and we already did that. And make sure your 5 face-up cards and the deck are near each other. Place the European Express card and the summary card next to the board as a reminder to the players. So we'll put that right there. And because this way, so Jordan doesn't have to peek over, I'll just place this card over on her side of the table, when we're actually playing the game. Take the deck of destination tickets and separate the long routes from the regular routes. So the long routes will be this blue, and the regular routes will just be kind of that tan. It'll have more muted colors. Shuffle the long route tickets and randomly deal 1 to each player. Put any remaining long routes back into the game box. They will not be used for the remainder of the game, but don't let anyone see them. Those are going to be a secret. Now, you just shuffle the regular destination tickets, and I will use my Genie magic right now. Like so. And deal 3 to each player. Okay. Then place the remainder face down next to the board. And I'll place it right here by the European Express. And that completes the setup. We're now ready to begin. The player who has visited the most European countries in their lifetime begins the game, and play proceeds clockwise. On their turn, a player must perform at least one and only one of the following actions. First is drawing train cards. There are 8 types of regular train cards in quantities of 12 each, and 14 locomotive cards. And all their colors can be clearly seen on the board. We have blue, yellow, red, orange, white, black, purple, and that would be it. And then the locomotives. And they match, yeah, like I said, various routes. If a player chooses to draw train cards, then they draw 2 cards per turn. So if I chose to draw, I can take 1, refill, and 2. And refill. Either of these cards can be drawn from the 5 face up or directly from the deck. When you draw, you must immediately replace the cards from the row. So Jordan can draw this card, and she must immediately replace it. And then we'll do from the top of the deck, so we can show you guys that you can do that. If a player, however, selects a locomotive card face up, it is the only card they may pick this turn. If at any time 3 of the 5 face up cards are locomotives, all 5 cards are immediately discarded in their discard pile, and 5 new ones must be drawn to take their place. A player may have any number of cards in their hand at a time. There is no hand limit in this game. When the draw pile is exhausted, like so, the discards are reshuffled and ready to form a new draw deck. The cards must be shuffled thoroughly, since they will usually have been discarded in sets. In the unlikely event there are no cards left in the deck and no cards available to shuffle as a result of players hoarding cards in their hands, a player will not be able to draw train cards. They must then claim a route, draw destination tickets, or build a station. Those are the only options they have on their turn if this scenario ever happens. Next, we can claim routes. A route is a set of continuous colored spaces between 2 adjacent cities. To claim a route, a player must play a set of train cards whose color and quantity match the color and number of spaces of the route chosen. Most routes require a specific set of colored cards to claim them. Locomotives can always act as a stand-in for any given color. Gray routes can be claimed using a set of cards of any one color. So, the card. A few rounds have passed. Okay, and so I'll spend this wild and this blue to place 2 trains right here, going from Essen to Berlin. Okay, and that'll be that. When a route is claimed, the player places one of their plastic trains on the board within the route that matches the color and number. So I discarded 2 so Jordan discarded 2 yellow, and so she goes from Berksonville to Paris. All the cards in the set used to claim the route are then discarded. The player then immediately records their score by moving their scoring marker to the appropriate number on the space along the scoring track. Both me and Jordan placed 2 trains, which allows us to get 2 points. And the scoring table you can see on the board, or again, you can see by passing this card along to other people who probably won't be able to see the full board. When you are playing, when a player is playing a route, claiming a route, they can claim routes that are not connected to the routes they just placed. So for example, if Jordan wanted to claim this route over here, but she already placed some trains here, she can still pay the cost for it and place 3 of her trains down here. There is no actual rule in succession. There's no succession rule, so you don't have to keep the line moving. You just need to play trains, draw tickets, or draw train cards. That's all you need to do. And of course, because she placed 3, she gets 4 points. A route must be claimed in its entirety during a single turn. For example, you cannot lay 2 trains on a 3-space route and wait the next turn to lay the 3rd train. So if I wanted here to here, I can't do that. I have to place all 3 trains. That's it. No more than 1 route may be claimed in a given player's turn. Locomotives are multicolored and act as wild cards. Locomotive cards may be played along with any set of cards when claiming a route. They are also vital to claiming ferry routes. A face-up locomotive card is picked during a card draw. It must be the only card picked that turn. If a locomotive is turned over as a replacement for the first card drawn during the turn, or if a locomotive is available face up but not picked up as first and only card, it cannot be selected as a second card. However, if a player is lucky enough to get the locomotive from the top of the deck in a blind draw, it still counts as a single card, and they may still draw a total of 2 cards that turn. Some cities are connected by double routes. These routes, whose spaces are parallel right here, here, and equal in number from one city to the other. One player can never claim both routes between the same city during the course of the game, but beware of routes that are partially parallel, so like here, to each other, but are linked to different cities. These are not double routes. An important note to remember: in 2 or 3 player games, only one double route can be used. A player can either claim one of the 2 routes between the cities, but the other route is then closed for the other players for the remainder of the game. Ferries are special gray routes linking 2 adjacent cities across a body of water. They are easily identified by a locomotive icon featured on at least one of the spaces making the route. To claim a ferry, a player must play a locomotive card for each locomotive symbol on the route and the usual set of cards of the proper color for the remaining ferry route. You then place the trains on that ferry and discard the cards as usual. Tunnels are special routes that are easily identified by the special tunnel marks and outlines surrounding each of their spaces. What makes a tunnel special is that a player is never quite certain just how long the route they're trying to claim will be. When attempting to claim a tunnel route, the player first lays down the number of cards required by the length of the route. Then draw 3 of the top cards from the train deck. For each card revealed whose color matches the color of the card played to claim the tunnel, an additional card of the same color or locomotive must now be played from their hand. Only then can the player successfully claim the tunnel route. So we don't have anything that matches. I can now claim this route. Discard these cards as well as these. However, if the player does not have enough additional train cards matching the color or does not wish to play them, they may take all their cards back to their hands. So we try this with Jordan. She does not have the required trains to complete the route, so they go back to her hand and her turn ends. At the end of the turn, the 3 train cards revealed for the tunnel are discarded. A player can use their turn to draw additional destination tickets. To do so, you draw 3 new tickets from the top of the destination ticket deck. If there are fewer than 3 destination tickets left in the deck, the player only draws whatever's remaining. A player drawing tickets must keep at least one of them, but you may choose to keep 2 or all 3 of the drawn tickets. So we'll keep 1. Drawn tickets not kept in hand are placed at the bottom of the ticket deck. Tickets drawn and not immediately discarded must be kept until the end of the game. They cannot be discarded during a later ticket draw. The cities listed on the destination tickets represent travel goals for the player. They can result in a bonus or penalty if by the end of the game a player has created a continuous path of the colored plastic trains between two cities named on the destination ticket. They score the additional points indicated by the point value on the ticket. If they failed to complete a continuous path between those cities, they deduct the point value on the ticket from their total score. Destination tickets are kept secret, no showing anybody, until the game's final scoring. A player may have any number of destination tickets during the game. A train station allows an owner to use one and only one of their routes belonging to another player into or out of that city to help them connect the cities on their destination tickets. Stations may be built on any unoccupied city, even if it currently has not been it's not a claimed route into it. Two players may never build a station in the same city. Each player may build a maximum of one station per turn and 3 stations throughout the game. To build their first station, a player plays and discards one train card from their hand and places it in the city of their choice. To build a second station, the player must play and discard a set of 2 cards of any one color, and to build a third, they must spend 3. As usual, you can replace any number of cards with locomotives. If a player uses the same station to help connect cities on several different tickets, they must use the same route into the city with the station for all those tickets. The train station owner does not need to decide which route they use until the end of the game. The player is never required to build any stations. For each station a player does not use, 4 points are added to their final score. When any one stock of plastic trains gets down to 2 or lower, and yes, you can go to 0, at the end of their turn, each player, including that player, gets one final turn. The game then ends and the players calculate their final scores. Players should have already accounted for the points they have earned as they completed various routes. To make sure no mistakes were made, you may want to recount the points for each player's routes. Players must then reveal their destination tickets completed. The value of the completed tickets is added to their total score. The value of the incompleted tickets is subtracted from their total score. Remember that each station played allows its owner to use one and only one route belonging to another player into that city to complete a destination ticket. If a player uses the same station to help connect cities on the path of several different destination tickets, they must use the same route into or out of the city with the station for all tickets. Finally, give the 10-point bonus card for the European Express to the player who has the longest continuous path on the board. When evaluating and comparing path lengths, only take into account continuous lines of plastic trains of the same color. A continuous path may include loops and pass through the same city several times, but a given plastic train may never be used twice in the same continuous path. Stations and the opponent's routes they may provide access to do not count for the purpose of completing the paths and claiming the longest one. If several players are tied for the longest route, they each receive 10 points for the European Express card. The player with the most points wins the game. If 2 or more players are tied with the most points, the player who has completed the most destination tickets is the winner. If still tied, the player who used the least number of stations is declared the winner. In the unlikely event players are still tied, the player with the European Express card is the winner. And that's all you need to know to play Ticket to Ride Europe. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get them as soon as I possibly can. I want to let you guys know that we do feature a lot of other Ticket to Ride games as well. And so if this one is not your cup of tea, I'll leave the other ones in the description below so you can check them out, and feel free to pick out which one you kind of enjoy. If you enjoyed this video though, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for videos just like this. And if you enjoy the channel as a whole, consider becoming a Patreon supporter on our Patreon page. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and it can unlock nice goodies like, this is the one that we like to promote a lot, you can get early access to how to play videos just like this one. However, this one was filmed pretty early and it's already on our Patreon page. So if you're seeing this now, thank you for your donations. They mean a lot. And for you current Patreon supporters, I'd like to thank every single one of you. Your donations really help out this channel and it helps us do what we do. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. And if you are a big fan and are willing to admit it out in public, consider becoming a Etsy shop and consider going to our Etsy shop and check out all of our merch. Right now we have a pretty low catalog, but we will get it will be getting bigger over time. So please, I'll leave a link down in the description below. You can check it out and show off your Gamers Genie pride. Be on the lookout for our gameplay video on Ticket to Ride Europe. But until then, thanks for the views.